This week, three things happened in AI, and nobody is connecting them. OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, filed to go public at a valuation of $1 trillion. That would be the largest tech IPO in history. That is story one. Anthropic, OpenAI's closest rival, the company that makes Claude, just posted its first profit ever, $10.9 billion in revenue in a single quarter. A company that said 2 years ago it would not be profitable until 2028. That is story two. And then, on the same week those two announcements landed, the man who co-founded OpenAI, one of the 11 people who built it from nothing, walked out of his own company and joined Anthropic. That is story three. Separate headlines. One story. And in the next 12 minutes I am going to explain exactly what it means, and why this week may be the most important week in the history of artificial intelligence. Let us start with the numbers, because the numbers this week are unlike anything the technology industry has ever produced in a single 7-day period. OpenAI, founded in 2015. Nonprofit mission to ensure AI benefits all of humanity. That was the founding document. Sam Altman signed it. 11 years later, OpenAI is filing to go public at a valuation above $1 trillion. Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley are running the listing. The target date is September 2026. If it happens at that valuation, it will be the most valuable IPO in the history of the United States stock market. Bigger than Saudi Aramco. Bigger than Alibaba. Bigger than anything. And this is happening the same week that Anthropic, the company founded specifically because its founders were worried OpenAI was moving too fast, disclosed that it made $10.9 billion in revenue in the second quarter of 2026. That is up 130% from the previous quarter. One quarter. 130% growth. For context on how extraordinary that number is, Google took 4 years to reach $10 billion in quarterly revenue. Facebook took 5 years. Anthropic just hit it in under 3 years from launch. And Anthropic expects to make a profit of $559 million this quarter. Its first profit ever. A company that was burning through $5 billion a year in cash 18 months ago. Three things happened this week. Let us look at each one properly. The OpenAI IPO is the biggest financial story in tech since Apple became a $2 trillion company. Here is what we know. OpenAI is preparing to confidentially file its IPO prospectus this week. Confidential filing means the document goes to the SEC first, privately. The public does not see it until OpenAI decides to go public, which could be as early as September 2026. The target valuation is above $1 trillion. OpenAI's most recent private funding round in March 2026 valued the company at $852 billion. The IPO would push that number past the trillion mark. Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley are the lead underwriters, the two most prestigious investment banks in the world. This is not a startup scrambling to go public. This is a calculated, choreographed financial event with the biggest names in global finance behind it. Now here is the question everyone is avoiding. Is a $1 trillion valuation justified? OpenAI's annualized revenue exiting 2025 was above $20 billion. At a $1 trillion valuation, investors would be paying 50 times revenue. That is an extremely aggressive multiple, even by tech standards. The bet being made is not on what OpenAI earns today. It is on what the company controls tomorrow. If OpenAI becomes the dominant AI operating system for the global economy, the way Microsoft became the operating system for personal computing, then $1 trillion is a bargain. That is the bet. Whether it pays off is the defining financial question of the next decade. Now let us talk about the story that is actually more surprising than the OpenAI IPO, because almost nobody saw it coming. 18 months ago, Anthropic told investors it would not be profitable until 2028. It was burning through $5 billion a year in cash. Building AI models at the frontier costs an almost incomprehensible amount of money: compute, talent, energy, infrastructure. This week, Anthropic disclosed it expects to generate $10.9 billion in revenue in the second quarter of 2026 alone. That is more than double what it made in the first quarter, and it expects to report an operating profit of $559 million for the period. What changed? Two things primarily. First, Claude Code, Anthropic's AI coding assistant, has become a runaway product. It is approaching $1 billion in annualized revenue on its own, just months after launch. Developers are adopting it at a pace that shocked even Anthropic's internal forecasts. Second, enterprise clients now represent 80% of Anthropic's total revenue. Over 300,000 businesses use Claude. That means Anthropic's revenue base is not dependent on consumers renewing subscriptions, it is locked into multi-year enterprise contracts. That is a far more stable foundation than ChatGPT's consumer model. Anthropic's valuation is now racing toward and potentially past OpenAI's $852 billion. The company that was OpenAI's scrappy challenger 18 months ago is now in a dead heat for the title of the most valuable AI company in the world. Now for the story that the AI community is most stunned by. Because this one is personal. Andrej Karpathy is not just a well-known researcher. He is one of the 11 people who co-founded OpenAI in 2015 and built the earliest versions of the systems that became GPT. He left OpenAI in 2017 to run Tesla's entire Autopilot and self-driving AI program. He came back to OpenAI briefly. Then he left to start his own AI education company. This week, Karpathy announced he is joining Anthropic. He posted it on X with 11 words. I think the next few years at the frontier of LLMs will be especially formative. That post got 147,000 likes in 24 hours. He did not explain why Anthropic over OpenAI. He did not need to. His role at Anthropic is on the pre-training team, the team responsible for the large-scale training runs that give Claude its core intelligence and capabilities. But Anthropic also confirmed he will build a new team focused on one specific goal, using Claude to improve Claude. Teaching AI to improve its own training process. That concept has a name in AI safety research. It is called recursive self-improvement. And Anthropic just hired the person many consider the best living expert on training large language models to work on it. When the co-founder of OpenAI decides the most formative AI work of the next few years will happen at Anthropic, that is not a career move. That is a signal. And now the number that nobody in mainstream coverage is talking about, because it is so large it almost seems like a typo. Anthropic is paying SpaceX $1.25 billion per month. Every month. For 3 years. That is $15 billion a year. Just for computing power. Just to run the servers that train and serve Claude. This came to light this week when SpaceX filed its S-1 prospectus with the SEC ahead of its own IPO. The filing disclosed Anthropic as a named anchor customer for SpaceX's Colossus data centers in Memphis, Tennessee, the same infrastructure that Elon Musk built for XI. Think about that for a moment. Anthropic, the AI safety company founded partly out of concern about Elon Musk's influence over OpenAI, is now one of the largest customers of Elon Musk's infrastructure business. The AI industry does not do ideological purity. It does compute. For Anthropic, the deal makes sense. Compute is the limiting resource in the AI race. Whoever controls the most compute trains the best models. $15 billion a year is what frontier AI actually costs. That $15 billion annual compute bill is also why Anthropic needs $10.9 billion in quarterly revenue. The math of frontier AI is merciless. You need billions just to stay at the table. There is one more story from this week that we need to cover, because it affects every single person who uses ChatGPT. OpenAI just launched an advertising platform inside ChatGPT. Brands can now pay to have their products recommended to you inside your AI conversations. You ask ChatGPT for the best running shoe for a marathon. A brand has paid to be in that answer. That is what is now possible. This is a fundamental shift in how OpenAI makes money. Until now, the model was simple. Pay $20 a month, get ChatGPT. No ads, no sponsors, pure product. The reason this is happening now, this week, specifically, is almost certainly the IPO. To justify a $1 trillion valuation to public market investors, OpenAI needs to show it can grow revenue beyond subscriptions. Advertising is the highest margin, most scalable business model in tech history. Google built a $2 trillion company on it. Privacy advocates are already pushing back. The concern is straightforward. Your ChatGPT conversations contain some of the most personal data you have ever typed into a screen. Your health questions, your financial worries, your relationship problems. That data is now commercially interesting to advertisers in a new way. OpenAI says the ads are clearly labeled and do not change the underlying model's answers. That claim will be tested and scrutinized in the months ahead. So what does all of this actually mean for you? If you are an investor or thinking about investing in AI, the OpenAI IPO will be the most watched public offering in a decade. It will set the benchmark for how markets value AI companies. Every AI stock, Microsoft, Google, Nvidia, and dozens of smaller names, will be repriced based on what the market decides OpenAI is worth. This is not a niche event. It is a macro event for the entire technology sector. If you are a developer or building anything with AI, the Karpathy move tells you something important. The most technically respected person in the field looked at both companies and chose Anthropic. He specifically chose to work on making AI improve itself. If you are building products, the models coming out of Anthropic in the next 2 years may be significantly more capable than what is available today. Plan for that. If you are thinking about your career in the context of what we covered on Friday, Meta's layoffs, AI replacing jobs, this week provides the other half of the picture. The money flowing into AI is not just eliminating jobs. It is creating entirely new categories of work: AI infrastructure, AI safety research, enterprise AI deployment, AI product design. The roles that are growing pay extraordinarily well. The path requires learning the tools. The week of May 19th, 2026 will be studied in business schools. The consolidation of talent, capital, and compute that happened in 7 days is historic. OpenAI files for a $1 trillion IPO. Anthropic posts its first profit, a quarter the whole industry said was 2 years away. The co-founder of OpenAI walks out and joins the competition. And underneath all of it, a $15 billion a year compute bill that tells you exactly how serious this race has become. This is the AI industry in 2026. If you have a view on this, whether you think OpenAI's IPO is overvalued, whether Karpathy's move signals something the rest of us are missing, whether ads in ChatGPT cross a line, drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and the best comments get featured in next week's video. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we break down exactly what is happening in AI, what it means, and what you should do about it. See you Wednesday.